I don't know if you've seen the news lately, but there's a lot of things going on. Millions of gallons of oil continue to pour into the Gulf of Mexico. There's riots on the streets in Greece. There's civil unrest in Thailand. The euro has been plunging against world currencies. And stock markets around the world have been going down day after day after day. And your clients are concerned. Many of them are afraid, and they're looking for answers. And they call their banker. The banker doesn't have any answers. They call their broker. The broker doesn't have any answers. I mean, I think now we know why they're called brokers, right? Because you're broker than you were 3 years ago. And I had a chance to travel the country with Phil Harriman and MDRT, and we did the Boom Retirement Road shows around the country. And one day in D.C., Phil and I went out for some lunch, and on all the bus stops was this poster. And it says, I got a lot less money and a lot more questions, and it says, talk to Chuck. I handed Phil my phone. I said, go ahead, call him. Chuck doesn't have the answers either. You see, you know who's got the answers in times like this? We've got the answers in markets like this. If you think about it, whole life insurance was built for markets just like this. Fixed annuities were built for markets just like this. Variable annuities with guaranteed death benefits, guaranteed living benefits that were priced properly were built for markets just like this, and guaranteed lifetime income was built for markets just like this. Julian's right. This is our time. It's our turn, and we have the answers. Now, I want you to hold me accountable to something today, and that is, don't let me give you my opinion, okay? I'm going to stick to mathematical, scientific, and economic facts. I want you to know that there's one best way for every person in the world to retire, and I'm going to share that with you today, and it's not my opinion. It's based in math and science. It's been proven by PhDs and physicists. You see, everybody's got their opinions, right? Susie Orman, you ever watch her? She's got her opinion. She says, don't buy annuities. The fees are too high. Stick with no-load mutual funds. Hey, Susie, how's that been working for the past decade? You know, Jane Bryan Quinn, she writes all these articles. She says, oh, don't buy whole life. No, no, no. Buy term and I guess lose the difference or something. How's that been working out? See, the answer is that hasn't been working out. And I'm going to talk about the answers that are based in math and science. So my first question today is simply this. Whatever happened to happily ever after? Remember, you'd read those stories to your kids and grandkids, and at the end of every story, what happened? Everybody always lived happily ever after. You know, if you think about it, retirement used to be a promise. You'd work for a company for 30 years. Then what? They'd hold a party. Then what? They'd present you with a gold watch. Then what? They'd give you a guaranteed paycheck every single month for the rest of your life so that you too could live happily ever after. What happened to that deal? Do you know that only 19% of Americans have a pension anymore, and the vast majority of them are government workers? So basically, unless you work for the government, you probably don't have, nor ever will have, a pension, a guaranteed paycheck for life. And that's happening right when there's 78 million baby boomers rushing headlong and headstrong into retirement. A time when people need guaranteed lifetime income more than ever, and they don't have it. Add to the fact that people are living longer. You see, the average 65-year-old male will live to be age 85. The average 65-year-old female will live to be age 88. Here's my question. What's the problem with averages? It doesn't matter what the averages are. It has nothing to do with how long any of you will live. Half of everybody in this room will live longer than that. Because here's the key point. Life expectancy is not an average. Life expectancy is a midpoint. It simply means half of the 65-year-olds will die prior to age 85. But what about the other half? They're going to be still alive. Half of the 65-year-old females will die by age 88. What about the other half? You know, I told you I'd stick to math and science and facts. I'll give you my first fact of the day. Married people live longer than single people. I have no idea why, but it's a fact. And if you're a husband or wife who are age 65, you need to know there is a 50-50 chance that one of you will live to be age 92. There's a 25% chance one of you will live to be 97. Now think about that. You have a book of business. Think of all the 65-year-old couples, and 25%, one of them is going to live to be 97. And there'll be plenty of people in this room who live past age 100. You see, when you're planning for people's financial future, you need to plan to age 100, and possibly beyond. The next thing, people know how much money they have. Well, now I say people know how much money they had, but no, I believe people know how much money they have, and I can prove it. If you've got a piece of paper, write down in real small numbers where nobody else can see, how much money have you been able to save from birth until today? If you don't have a piece of paper, just think of that number. How much money have you been able to save from birth until today? And I'll bet almost everyone in this room could get it within like $500,000 or $600,000, right? See, so I know you know how much money you have. It's just that most people don't have a good idea of what they can expect from that money. You see, USA Today had an article several years ago where they said 50% of all baby boomers believe they can take out 10% or more each year from their retirement portfolio. Well, you can. You're just going to run out of money real fast. The Wall Street Journal had another article. Now, what did the Wall Street Journal say was the bulletproof? Bulletproof withdrawal rate from diversified portfolios, how much? Bulletproof? No, 2%. 2%. They say 3% is safe, 4% is pushing it, 5% or more, you will run out of money. It's just a matter of time. It's not an opinion. It's a mathematical, scientific, and economic fact. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to shake the ladder. I'm going to challenge your thinking. I'm going to show you some things maybe in a different way than you've ever seen them before. But here's the first rule. The day you retire and start taking money out of a portfolio, all the rules change. And average returns are no longer important. Now that's going to go against everything you've been taught. It might go against everything you've experienced in your life. Because if you think about it, your entire life you've been a saver. You've been an investor. And as a saver and investor, average returns matter. I mean, if you can get 4%, it's better than 2. If you can get 6, it's better than 4. If you get 8, it's better than 6. So we grow up thinking average returns matter. But the day you retire, all the rules change. See, most of you are thinking like this guy right here. Here's a guy in 1973, had $100,000. He invested 50% stock, 50% bonds, and for the next 22 years, he averaged 10.1% per year. Hey, can we agree on one thing? If you could invest your money for the next 22 years and somebody give you 10.1% a year for the next, you'd take it right now? And his $100,000 grew to be worth $846,000. And it doesn't matter if we ran the numbers backwards from 1995 to 1973, because he still averaged how much? 10.1%, he still wound up with a boatload of money. So that's how we think the world works. However, that's not how it worked for the next guy. See, the next guy also had $100,000 in 1973. He also invested 50% stock, 50% bonds. He also averaged 10.1% a year for the next 22 years. But this guy retired in 1973, and he needed income. And so he took out 5% per year. Now, let me ask you a question. How much did he average per year? 10.1. How much is he going to take out? 5. He's okay, right? He's fine? No, he's dead broke. See the green line up there? Now somebody here has to explain to me, how can you average 10.1% a year for 22 years, take out 5% a year and go broke? And the answer is, because average returns don't matter what you retire. Once you retire, there's only one thing that matters, and that's the order of those returns. Does anybody remember what happened to the stock market in 1973, 74, 75? The market went down, down, down. Here's the deal. If you retire and you have your money in a diversified portfolio, and the first 3 years of your retirement, the market goes down, 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 there isn't much else I can do for you. You're either going to have to take out less, put in more, or you will run out of money.